Right, before you watch the video today, I'd just like to take a few seconds to say that this year I'll be voting for a local man for council. I've never voted in the council elections before because I've never felt the need to, but this guy's not paying me in any way to do this or to say this. I've just felt that if I can promote him, then it would be good for the area because he's a grassroots kind of guy. He started off with the Black Country campaign and he's done really well with that. And I know that he cares for his area. He's a sensible chap, and it'd be great to see him in office in the area, in local council, and to see some of the good things he could do for us and for the area. You know, preserve history, really do things that matter to the Black Country people, rather than what matter to their own pockets, which is what most councillors do. You know, it's hard to get people in like that, I find, without this sort of endorsement, because it's a gravy train. You know, they literally vote each other in, family members. So yeah, let's get behind him. I'll be getting to the voting polls, or you know, to the voting office, to put my pen to paper and to get my mark down for Stephen Edwards. So I'd be appreciating it if you did the same, and let's see if we can go get some change in the area. Right, enjoy the video. Okay, today I am going to be filming at the Canal, which is by the Round Oak Steelworks old factory. Before I start metal detecting and magnet fishing, a little information about the area. So actually the canal itself was here before the factory, and the first factory came in 1857 and it was an iron factory, so they were producing iron. In the 1890s the demand for iron dropped as the quality of the steel and the steel production increased, so the Earl of Dudley switched his operations to steel and it became the Earl of Dudley Steelworks, Round Oak. So yeah, the canal was in before, and consequently that's why the Earl of Dudley decided to put his factory here. He had 2 railway lines, I believe, at that point, and the canal access, and he basically dropped the factory right next to the canal. As you can see here, there's where we are today, and where the stretch of canal we're going to be detecting and magnet fishing is this stretch. It still exists, but a lot of this canal has been cut off further down, and the Wallace Trading Estate has covered it over basically. But where the Aldi is today is where there would have been a wharf, as you can see here. And I think if I can find a picture, you can see there the actual crane of the wharf. So yeah, the Earl of Dudley plonked it here and it worked. The canal itself is a lot older, as I've said, so I'm hoping to find some references to that. And apart from that, let's see what we've got. Straight away there's something interesting for you. That looks to me like an early lighting system, obviously, but it's on a big long crane or tower. Okay, I can see at the base they've got some sort of electrics. Just go and have a look. It's a bit overgrown, but it's been untouched now for how many years? There is still, oh, there's a badger living here as well. There is still a live railway line to the right of me, which still stock holds. So there's a factory there that they stock hold. So even though the factory went, they kept the industries such as stock holding and cutting steel and things are still around here. It's just we don't produce the steel anymore. We bring it in and we cut it up and we make it into nice things, which is a pity. Why not just bring the raw materials in? But yeah, it looks like to me there's a crow nesting up there, or some bird making use of it. I think I can see some movement. And in the boxes themselves, it's still actually got some of its components. There we go. Folks. Oh, that ain't that nice to see. Made in England. You don't get that very often now. I wonder where the steel for these came from. Okay, let me get my magnet and see what we can't get. See you in a bit. Feels like the magnet's got something there. It just can't quite hold it. Must be there. Okay. You see that, guys? There. Seems to have a chain. Oh yeah, okay. Use the hook. Now I don't know what's going to be on the end of this. It could be just a bit of chain, but looking at it, it looks old and it looks long. The weight in it. No hooks, so I don't think it's anything to do with trains. Let's see then. See if I can get the angle right for you. And you can see it with me. Okay. Right. There's a hook. Okay, so I was right then. I was thinking train. I don't want to say it until I was sure. But yeah, it's a coupling. So that then would basically go between the train tubs or between the locomotive and the train. Date, I couldn't tell you, I'm no expert, but it looks to be iron rather than steel. And in that case it could be old. It's well rusted, obviously it's probably been in the canal for a few years. I think these would have been moving at one point, but they've been pulled tight throughout years of use and rusted solid. This would have pulled the couplings tighter, and the chain I think was there just for a precautionary measure. But yeah, my granddad, Joe Bedard, he worked on the Round Oak Internal Railway. He actually got his long service watch, gold watch. He's in one of the Stan Hill books. But yeah, I'm really pleased to find that. It just gives me that connection to my granddad that I've been looking for over in this area anyway. At least I've found something relating to Round Oak, I think. But I'm sure you'll tell me if I'm wrong, guys. If it's anything but a coupling, but I'm sure it's a train coupling. Chucked in the cut, why I don't know, they chucked it in the cut, probably kids messing around. But yeah, it's there for me to find, so there you go, guys, train coupling. Okay, I'm just having a little jolly up the side. You can see it's quite stagnant. It's been cut off now since they put the Dudley Road across and the new Aldi houses in. But look at that. Well, at first sight it looks like a telegraph pole, but looking at the thickness at the base and the fact it's slightly thinner at the top tells me it's something else. Let's have a look. I've seen pictures of the railway during the 50s. I'll see if I can find one. And these, I believe, are electricity pylons. So you can see there the braces that would have once held the wires. There would be, as you can see in the picture, a piece of wood across, and then they would have a piece of glass or ceramic, which is non-conductive. Stop the electricity running down on a damp day. But yeah, it's nice to see it's still here. They've obviously chopped it down and left it here. There must have been one very near. Oh, that looks, yep, that looks like a step. So that would have been one of the steps they used to climb it. It is nearer the smaller end, or the fatter end, the bottom. Let's carry on up. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of evidence for the fact that the canal is earlier. I mean, this wall here is made of basalt rock, and I will be doing a video on this rock soon, because the rock is quarried at the Barrow Hill volcano. There's a lot of this rock in the area, a lot under the Dudley Road and the Pensnet Road, used as hardcore. During the 1840s it was extensively quarried. So that tells me that this wall is circa 1840, which is some 15-20 years before the steelworks were put in. And actually, looking at the wall, it's well made, and a lot of the walls that I see they've got decent sized rocks. But this one, it seems to have some real big stones in it. So they picked some real quality pieces of stone for this, which tells me at one time this canal was admired. It was, you know, it was the A1 of its time. It was the M25 of its day. They put a lot of pleasure and a lot of art into building this wall, and it runs quite a way. I had no idea it was here, and it's lovely to see, I'll be honest. Oh, look at that old dob in there. It's obviously been run over by one of the trailers over the back and chucked over the wall. Yeah, this wall carries on for quite a way. It is nice to see that they've built this wall so well, and it's just sitting here now, forgotten, you know, absolutely forgotten. Apart from this video, I bet maybe 1 or 2 people knew this wall existed. This old 1840s basalt rock stone wall. I mean, I'm not going to go too much into the basalt rock and the volcano and the quarrying of it, because I do want to do another video on that. So if you are enjoying these videos, please leave a like, leave a subscribe, and please, if you've got anything that you want me to look into, i.e. old buildings, old areas, unexplored places that you think might have something interesting, then just drop it in the comments and I will do my best to reply. Just a quick story for you on these lights. When I was young, my dad, God rest his soul, obviously before he passed away, he told me a story of how when he was working at Round Oak himself and they were having a long hot day and the night came, they would turn the lights inwards towards a certain place. These lights, all the lights they could turn in that would make effect, and they would play football. So you can imagine it would be a floodlit pitch, and I can just imagine the fun they had back then when this area was an industrial working area, you know, with real community, real pride of place was the factory of Round Oak. People loved working there, and the community was huge. And today on some of the sites you can still see the community spirit, something we've lost. I mean, social media's got its good points, but you can't beat getting together with the lads for a good knees up. And you did that every day at the factory, I imagine. You know, on your break times might be 30, 40 people all having a good jolly. Just ran across the metal detector, had a big signal. Look at that. It looks to me to be a U-bolt. Oh my god, it's stopping. Obviously there to fill up. I hope I don't bother them. So yeah, obviously some sort of lifting bar. So would have gone through there, the bar, and out there. Whether it's screwed in or bolted on, I don't know. And this would have been the lifting eye. It would have gone that way and maybe lifted some of the pots. I think that could lift 17 ton. Looking at some of the chains I've worked with in my life. But I am 100% sure. Looking at the way it's rusting in those streaks, it looks like iron as well, so it's an early part of the area. It's not steel. You know, most products like that today are steel. You know, very rarely you'll get iron lifting equipment now, if at all. So yeah, I'll look into that a bit more when I get home. Okay, starting to lose the light, so I'm off, but I've had a nice afternoon. See, the sun's going down. There seems to be a line of those light towers. Some have been reused as GPS or maybe 5G, and there's some over there that seem to be older. This one seems to be newer, but they seem to be running all the way around the periphery of what would have been the later Round Oak steelworks. And I think the earlier one was here. This was the mainstay of the earlier one. The building, which originally was built in 1857, around about then, was over there. I picked this up metal detecting. I know what it is. It's kind of like a small spring that would have sat in between the train lines just to stop some of the vibrations. But yeah, off now. Hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to subscribe, and if you've got any comments or ideas for my next video, then drop me a line.